Hello, friends. Welcome to the second day of our study series on Saint Francis of Assisi. Today, we will meditate on Psalm 23, one of the most beautiful and comforting prayers in the Bible. This psalm speaks of trust in God, our shepherd, who guides and protects us at all times. Saint Francis lived out this trust in a radical way, and his life inspires us to rely more on divine love. Let's reflect on this powerful message together. Before we start, do not forget to like and subscribe. Psalm 23 begins with the words, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." This reminds us that God cares for us like a shepherd cares for his sheep. Saint Francis fully trusted in God, even when he renounced everything to follow Jesus. He knew that with God, he would never be abandoned. Have you ever felt God taking care of you in a difficult moment? The psalm continues, "He makes me lie down in green pastures." God offers us rest and renewal, just like a shepherd leading his sheep to lush fields. Saint Francis found this rest in God, even while living a simple and challenging life. He teaches us that true peace comes from trusting in the Lord. Where do you find your refuge and rest? The psalm says, "He leads me beside still waters." These waters symbolize the serenity and renewal that God offers. Saint Francis, in the midst of struggles, always found peace in prayer and in contemplating nature. He shows us that even in turbulent times, we can find calm in God's hands. How do you seek this tranquility in your life? The psalm affirms, "He restores my soul." God not only takes care of our physical needs but also renews our spirit. Saint Francis, in his search for God, found deep joy and a restored soul. He invites us to trust that God can heal our wounds and give us new hope. What do you need God to restore in your life today? The psalm says, "He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake." God guides us on the right path, even when we feel lost. Saint Francis followed this path of righteousness, loving the poor and living with integrity. He teaches us that following God is the best guide for our lives. Have you ever felt God guiding you in an important decision? The psalm states, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." Saint Francis faced many hardships, but he never lost his faith. He knew that God was with him at all times. This trust inspires us to face our fears with courage. What is your valley of the shadow of death today? The psalm says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." God blesses us even in the midst of struggles. Saint Francis experienced this joy and abundance in simplicity. He reminds us that the greatest blessings come from God. How do you see God's blessings in your life? The psalm concludes, "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life." Saint Francis experienced this divine goodness throughout his journey. He invites us to trust that God never abandons us. What a beautiful message to end today's meditation, right? And so we conclude the second day of our study on Saint Francis of Assisi. I hope today's meditation on Psalm 23 has touched your heart and renewed your trust in God. Tomorrow, we will explore Francis's love for nature. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to follow this journey. Until then, peace and good.